Welcome back, race fans. Thanks for enjoying that break. Hopefully you got something. Starting on the pole of the Roadrunner main event, we are going to be going for 20 laps. The number 24 of Alexis Coleman out of Fortuna, sponsored by John's Used Cars and Wreckers, Matt Coleman, Platinum Auto Detail, Peterson Collision Repair. On her outside in the number 29 is Jeremiah Martin out of Eureka. He is sponsored by Martin Construction, J. West with Mobile Diesel Repair. Starting third in the number 22 is Dave Rogers out of Ukiah, sponsored by Steve Taylor Excavation, Cloverdale Auto Parts, Super Strippers, Pep Dust Control, F&S RV, and Boat Storage. On his outside is the number 79 car, J.R. Brandt. He is sponsored by Scott Construction, Humboldt Treecraft, Apex Resource Management, Lost Coast Recovery, Lost Coast 4x4, Sinister Sedans Racing, Friends and Family. In the number 81, starting fifth, is the 81 of Brian Brandt out of Eureka. He is sponsored by Leon's Car Care, Ken's Auto Part, Lost Coast Recovery, Humboldt Treecraft, Scott Construction, Apex Resource Management, Family and Friends. On his outside is the number 65 of Tim Ratzlaff out of McKinleyville. He is sponsored by Han Solo Automotive. In the number 55 is Ty Rose out of Eureka. He is sponsored by Lost Coast Recovery, Eureka Payments, Martin Construction, King Chiropractic, Moore's Roofing, Sinister Sedans Racing. Starting on the outside of him is the number 2 of Wayne Marsh of Eureka. He is sponsored by Curb Appeal Construction, Lost Coast Recovery, and Sinister Sedans Racing. In the number 17 is Sean Wildman out of Fortuna. He is sponsored by Clyde's Towing. In the number 3 is Brian Hopkins out of Eureka. He is sponsored by Lost Coast Recovery, the Brandt family, and Sinister Sedans. And starting last in the number 10 car is Steve Kimberling out of Eureka. He is sponsored by Eureka Payments, Little Japan, Jeremy Maysale, and Compass Community Credit Union. That wraps up your Roadrunner Division main event. They will be going for 20 laps. All right, here we go. We are coming to green. Lexi Coleman out front. 29 of Jeremiah Martin gets an early lead. They are bunched up behind Martin, trying to get around the 24 of Coleman. On the inside is the 65 of Tim Ratzlaff, followed by the 22 of Dave Rogers. Coleman continues to be on the outside. The 79 of J.R. Brandt is running in 5th. Martin has a considerable lead out front over Tim Ratzlaff, followed by Rogers, Brandt, Coleman, Rose, Marsh, Hopkins, Kimberling, and Wildman is your running order. We have 18 laps to go. They are single file. There is a little bit of a battle at the back between the 2 and the 3 of Brian Hopkins and Wayne Marsh. Wayne Marsh gets that sorted out. At the back of the pack is the 17 and the 5 battling, with the 17 getting around the 5. Out front continues to be Jeremiah Martin, followed by Dave Rogers and Tim Ratzlaff. Sorry, that is the 81 of Brian Brandt got around. He is putting the pressure on the 22 of Dave Rogers. Slowing on the track is Kimberling. The number 81 of Brandt on the inside of the 22. Kimberling pulls to the pits as Jeremiah Martin comes off of turn 2. It is the 81 on the inside of the 22. The 22 continues to hold off the 81. They are again single file. Your running order is the 29, the 22, the 81, the 65 and 79. The 81 continues to look on that inside. They just cannot complete that pass. Here we go again. The 81 of Brian Bryant looking on the inside of Rogers. Rogers barely has it. He continues to leave the door open. The 81 gets a little bit sideways coming off at turn 4, but loses some ground there to make that pass. Continues to be the 22 of Dave Rogers running in second. Jeremiah Martin out front, although that gap is closing mighty quick. They are chasing down the 29. The front of the pack, 29 of Jeremiah Martin, followed by the 22 of Dave Rogers. The 81 of Brian Brandt. Running in fourth is the 65 of Tim Ratzlaff and the 79 of J.R. Brandt. Further on back is the 24 of Lexi Coleman, followed by Ty Rose, Wade Marsh, Brian Hopkins, John Wildman, and Kimberling is off of the track. The 29 of Jeremiah Martin is starting to catch the leaders. There is about a quarter of a track distance there. It looks like leaders are going to come into play. Continuing that second place battle, here comes the 81 of Dave Bryan on the inside of the 22. Again, 81 gets a little low. He's able to stay low. They are still side by side. The door is still open for the 81. As the 22 is on the outside, the 81 has a little bit of a lead down the backstretch. That's the closest the 81 has gotten to completing the pass. The 22 on the outside, the 81 on the inside. As they come off of turn 4, the gap over the 29 is getting shorter and shorter every lap. Looks like lapped traffic might come into play for this battle. The 29 of Jeremiah Martin. The 81 of Brian Brandt is shown as the second place car on the last lap. The 81 continues to stay low. The 22 stays high. And they come off of turn 4. As suspected, lap traffic is going to come into play. The 17 of John Wildman pulls over out of Jeremiah Martin's way and lets the leaders on by. Next up is going to be the 3 car of Brian Hopkins. As the leaders are starting to catch and lap traffic here, Martin gets around the 3, no problem. The 81 of Brian Brandt is in second. This is the first time the top 3 have been nose to tail for a little while. It is the 29 of Martin over the 81 of Brian Brandt and the 22 of Dave Rogers. The 81 of Brian Brandt has caught Jeremiah Martin. I told you that lead was getting shorter. They have caught the leader, and they are starting to catch more lap traffic as well. The 22 is on the outside of the 81 again. The 81 is looking on the inside of the 29, just cannot complete that pass. They are about to lap the number 2 car of Wayne Marsh out of Eureka. The leaders are coming up on the 2 of Wayne Marsh out of Eureka and the 55 of Ty Rose also out of Eureka. The 2 and the 55 are being given the move over flag, letting the drivers know the leaders are there, and the leaders are there. The 81 of Brian Brandt is right on the back of Martin. The top 3 of Martin, Brandt, and Rogers all get around the 2 and the 55 clean. They bring with them also the 65 car of Tim Ratzlaff. The top 4 clearly completed around that lap traffic. The number 79 of J.R. Brandt continues to try to get around the 55 and the 2. Up front, the number 81 gets into the back of 29. Everybody continues on. A little bit of bumper tag there. The 81 couldn't quite make that pass, and they are single file again. The 65 of Tim Ratzlaff and the 79 of J.R. Brandt had a brief battle there. The 65 on the high line. The 29 of Jeremiah Martin takes the white flag over Brian Brandt, Dave Rogers, Tim Ratzlaff, J.R. Brandt, Lexi Coleman, Wayne Marsh, Ty Rose, Brian Hopkins, and John Wildman. Out front continues to be Jeremiah Martin, Brian Brandt, and Dave Rogers. Rogers on the outside of Brandt as they come off of turn number 4. It is going to be Jeremiah Martin, the 81 of Brian Brandt, Dave Rogers, followed by the 65 of Tim Ratzlaff, the 79 of J.R. Brandt, 24 of Lexi Coleman in 6th. Your 7th finisher is the number 2 of Wayne Marsh. the number 8 of 55, Ty Rose. Brian Hopkins in the number 3 finishes 9th. Rounding out the top 10 is the number 17 of John Wildman, and your 11th finisher was number 10, Steve Kimberling. Your 2020 Fall Spectacular Roadrunner winner goes to Jeremiah Martin in the number 29 car, sponsored by Martin Construction, J. West with Mobile Diesel Repair.